Okay, let's get this thing set up. Running a little bit late. 1 second. Okay, the brother's here. Let me just add him to the stream now. Bismillah. Time. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Sorry we're running a bit late. A few
Walaikum assalam rahmatullahi barakatuh.
hitches. A couple of brothers. We're late. This is not how we want to be, is it, brother? We want to be on time. We want to get things running properly. We've got to set standards.
You know.
But it is what it is, brother. Inshallah. We'll start. We're getting to the topic, and then the brothers will be following along soon. So I don't know if you watched previous episodes. We are dealing with the subject of developing the Muslim community mindset, and we're coming from a place where I might say we're first or second generation Muslims, and we're finding our way. We're finding out what works, what doesn't work, and a group of brothers have come together to discuss this important issue as to how do we move forward as a community. What is the standard that we're trying to set amongst each other in regards to working together, in regards to families, business, friendship, brotherhood, etc., etc. Because what we found is, without setting a standard, without like-minded minds coming together to build something, we don't build. Right, so it's about having that conversation to find out what we can do, how we're going to get a standard, set a standard, and what we're gonna build together. So first of all, if you can tell me a bit about yourself. Alhamdulillah, just read your bio and stuff. You've been Muslim for what, 8 years, 8-9 years now?
Yeah, 8-9 years. I think I took my shahada when I was like 24. So yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all like 7 years now, 7-8 years. Yeah.
Okay, how did you find Islam?
Alhamdulillah, I always say Islam was like a breath of fresh air. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because the same things I was going through at the time, I was going through a lot of confusion, dealing with a lot of trauma. I was in a bad place. So for me, it was like I never really knew about Islam before. Like I heard little things. I had like Muslims around me, or I've been around Muslims for like a couple of years prior to that, but only got like picked up little things here and there. Do you know what I mean? Weren't nothing too heavy. So I had some, I would say, respect for Muslims, but I never really knew what the deen was about.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely after I was like invited to the deen and took my shahada and started researching and learning, definitely felt like I always, like, it's where I belong in it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like everything's timing, and it weren't meant for me before, but I knew that if I had this this start, or if I had this from, I could have saved a lot of issues and this and that, but alhamdulillah, everything's qadr of Allah. So
I mean, were your friends Muslim, or the area how did people give you dawah, and what was it, why did you say, yeah, I'm going to accept this deen? How did it come to you, kind of thing?
All right, so basically, yeah, I think a couple of years before I took my shahada, my sifu is my teacher.
Okay.
Martial arts. Yeah, I've been doing martial arts for 10 years now. So yeah, my sifu, he's a revert. Yeah, he's a Caribbean revert as well. He's a Muslim. He's an elder as well. So
what did he do? What's his martial art?
Wing Chun.
Okay, cool.
Wing Chun, the Chinese martial arts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like he was kind of my inspiration. Do you know what I mean? Like I looked up to him, and yeah. Assalamu alaikum, akhi.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, brother, I didn't give you permission to advertise Diamond Essence.
Come on.
Hey, my man's going in, like, yeah, my man looking for some free promotion on my network, yeah.
Yeah. Hustling, right?
All right, cool. We discuss that later, yeah. But my man's going for the branding hard.
Let me run up my thing quickly.
Yeah, your thing. No problem. I'll give you guys free advertisement, no problem.
Come on.
My man's going in.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. We'll get back to my man's story, then get back to you, inshallah.
So yeah, my sifu, my teacher, he was my inspiration. I had a lot of respect for him as an elder. And I used to see there's little things he used to do, like, because a lot of the people in my class, they were Muslim. So I used to see him give salam. I used to see the mannerisms. Even during Ramadan, we'd still train, and that he would stop to fast and pray all the time. So these kind of things, like, raw, like, it's the only religion I've seen where people actually take their time out of their daily activities or what they're doing to go and give thanks and praise, you know. When normally, you know, especially in London, it's a rat race. You know, everyone eating and want to get this and that, but to actually take a time out, whatever you're doing, and just say, do you know what, this is more important now. I'll go pray. You know, so that was a big thing for me, you know.
So he was in Ramadan, he's training as well, training,
still training, and they'll break fast. So I'd see them break fast, this and that, and I feel like, I want to do this as well, you know. So it was little things like that stood out for me. And other than that, I wouldn't say I had too much influence from the Muslim community, because especially in North London, it's not a big Muslim community like that. Do you know what I mean? It's not, especially where I lived as well. There weren't that many Muslims. It's mainly Somali, to be honest. In my areas, like Edmonton, Tottenham, like, you got a lot of Somalis. There's Turks there, but obviously no Turkish. They're more in their cultural. Do you know what I'm saying? More cultural than religious. So I wouldn't say that. You know what I mean? I had a lot of experience and passings and dealings with Muslims at like a young age, to be honest.
And how do you think the Muslim community embraced you, and, you know, getting involved in community activities, and how was that for you? Or were there any things that stuck out, like, right, that's a bit weird, or, you know, what I read in the books is not really happening, or?
No, do you know what it is? Obviously, with me, I had a bit of a like, my start wasn't the best start. So obviously I took my Shahada in Hounslow, West London. Obviously it's like mainly like Somali Asian community there. So when I took my Shahada, they kind of was like, oh, you need to stay with us. We need to teach you the ways. We need to teach you how to make wudu, how to pray, this and that. So I'm thinking, I've got stuff to do, man. I can't just be sitting in the masjid, like, do you know what I mean, for weeks. I've got a life. I've got things to do. I've got to hustle. So obviously I kind of like stayed with them a couple of days. And after that, I was like, nah, do you know what? And then I bust out. So I just got back to, like...
What age did you take your Shahada, Ak?
I think I was 24. I was 24 at the time.
Okay,
I was 24. So, yeah, I remember I was just like, oh, this is too much. Obviously, I believed it, all of that. Do you know what I mean? I weren't walking away from it. It was like, oh, this is too much too soon. And then I kind of just, fell back into my old routine, old habits. It weren't really till 2 years after my Shahada that I kind of seeking knowledge and properly taking like the deen seriously, like establishing salah, all these things, because without direction and knowing what steps to take, what books to read, what to do, it's very hard when you're a new Muslim to know.
I mean, what do you think is the best way? Obviously the first 2 years is a learning phase. What do you think is the best way to approach a revert Muslim? I.e., obviously from the Muslim point of view, you want to grab them to make sure they don't go back into their old ways. But then again, you don't want to suffocate them and try and tie them up like, you got to stay in the mosque all day with us because you've got your life to live. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because obviously I had like uncles embracing, man. It was nice to get me hugs and that £5 here, book there. You get me? I appreciate it. But it's like, we have to look at who you're dealing with. Do you understand? If you're dealing with like a young person or from this certain background, you need to try and let him build relationships and rapport with people that he can relate to. So you understand, if you see a young 16-year-old in a masjid, he's not got much family, he's going through something, but he wants to take his shahada, you're not going to link him up with a 40-year-old Somali uncle who can barely speak English, and it's not going to, you know what I'm saying, it's not really going to run from there. So you have to really look at who you're dealing with, link them up with the right people, and don't drown them with information in the beginning. Just give them, let them see that, you know, let them see the light, and give them time to process it, but don't leave them by themselves. Just it's a delicate process. You're not always going to get it right. But I think don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Don't leave them completely alone, and don't show them they got family, they got people there, were there for you. But it's a thing where it's a gradual thing. You know, sometimes you know, if you just wake up in the morning and I see a morning text, brothers give me salam, asking how I'm doing. First I might oh, this brother's just, you know what I'm saying? Why is he, you get me?
Just
But after a
bothering you.
while, I'm starting to think, okay, this brother actually cares. Do you know what I mean? He's, you know, he wants to keep up with me. He's keeping track. Cool. So that, even that alone, I might even call him after a couple of weeks and like, bro, like, do you know what? I haven't even been mashed again since. Like, I want to go mashed again. You know what I mean? Just little things like that. Giving people connecting people, networking with them, and just showing them the important, like, you know, who is Allah, basically. You need to know who Allah is and know the fundamentals of the deen without going into too much details and not being harsh with them and not saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you have to change this. That it's just too much to process. Someone will just walk, especially people coming from trauma, coming from road and certain things. They're gonna look at that and think, no, that's too much. I can't manage that. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of remember back in the days, it was like you have to change everything that day. Although we didn't, but it's like, well, okay, if a man came in with locks, cut your locks off, change your name, change your clothes, put on a topi. You get what I'm saying? It
Lock
was
off your
full
family.
on.
Lock off your kuffar family.
That was one thing. Lock off your family.
Yeah.
But yeah, you learn, innit? I mean, but my point, another point is that for some people they needed that, and for others they didn't. You get what I'm saying? Because you can't have one foot here, one foot here. For some people that worked, I think, but I think for some people it didn't work. It's difficult. It is a difficult balancing act.
Even for the people that, sorry to cut you, brother. Like, even for the people that it works, you have to alone. It's a lonely journey, you know. It's a lonely journey being by yourself. So if you ain't willing to look out for this brother and be there, then you can't be telling man to cut off family and cut off X, Y, and Z if you ain't gonna pick up the pieces. Do you get it? Or if you as a community ain't gonna pick up the pieces, then leave that, hold that within yourself, because that's leading someone down a dangerous path. I know what silence can do to a man. I know what being alone and being quiet and even not even be able to feel right in your own thoughts. I know what that can do to someone.
Yeah, it's a learning process, and obviously we're trying to gather information to find out what's the best way. Because obviously the dynamics of where you come from and your history. Obviously, when you move into a new community and you want to be a Muslim, the people are looking at you. How are we going to deal with this brother? Is he approachable? How hard should we go in on him? Like, it's a delicate balance act. And obviously, a masjid to masjid is different. You might go to a masjid don't understand how to deal with a revert Muslim. How delicate is he? Should we just go on him full? Should we give him a hat, clothes, and smother him? Do you get what I'm saying? It is difficult, but inshallah, may Allah make it easy for us. So then, you're Muslim now. I see. I'm just saying, go back to your profile that you got, mashallah, 8 children. And you've been Muslim for 8 years. All right. So, how is that issue of dealing with family now, being a married man and dealing with that responsibility? How did you take that?
Do you know what? See, I'm very old school, innit? Like, I've always believed that a man, if you're gonna make your bed, you have to lie in it. So for me, it's like, for me, just a broken home is.
You can't run away. You can't run away.
You can't run away. You get better the devil you know than the devil you don't, kind of thing. So it's like you can't run away from, you know, what you've made and what you brought into this world. So even if it is toxic, even if it's bad, you got to stick with it. And don't get me wrong, I have different view of things now and different understanding, and like that's from experience, because I've lived different lives. So, but I just, for me, with that, my mentality in the beginning was, I've got kids. Like, for me, I've never had my dad in my life. I've never met my dad before. I just about seeing a picture. I saw a picture of him when I was like 21, 22. So I've never met him in person. I don't even know if he's alive to this day now. Do you get it? So for me, it's like being a dad means a lot. Do you understand? So it's like, obviously, you know, I've been blessed with a child, so that whatever happens, I need to make it work, even if it's wrong. Even if I keep making mistakes, I just need to keep working, and one day it will get better. That's the way I saw things. And you know, alhamdulillah, obviously becoming Muslim, learning the rights, this and that, like, you know, I managed to grow and mature and change as a man and as a father, and, you know, alhamdulillah, I'm still on the journey, but you know, I can see
well, you know, I kind of wonder what the percentage of those individuals growing up without a father, whether they will stick around. Like my dad weren't around, so I'm just gonna do the same thing. You don't know how to build that relationship if you haven't seen it for yourself.
Yeah,
So there's a percentage of people that's gonna they're gonna behave the opposite and say, you know what, my dad went around, so why should I be around?
Yeah, no, it's true, but it just everyone's different. Like some people, you know, they've been sexually abused as a child. They don't mean that when they're older they're gonna go and do the same thing. Some might. It's it's
Some
just
might.
some might be seeing their dad, a drug dealer. It don't mean that they might go and hate drugs. Do you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just depends. It's not always based on one factor. Do you know what I mean? It could be based on your companions, what you have around you. It could be about a cousin that you have there. Do you know what I mean? It could be different things. So everyone takes things in their stride, and some people just they struggle with other things. But I think for me it was just like I always valued family, even though I didn't have any role models to show me what a real man should be or how a father should be. I've just had this appreciation, and it obviously because I was misguided and I didn't have the right knowledge, but I always knew that cool. Like, I wanted to be a good man and a proper dad one day. You know what I mean? And I didn't matter how many mistakes I made. It's like, I'm on a journey. Do you know? I'm on a journey. Don't have no one telling me any better, helping me. So I'm gonna just keep on my path until it works out. You get it?
Assalamu alaikum, Abdurrahim.
Alaikum salam.
How you doing, brother? All right, yeah?
Alhamdulillah.
Jade. Okay. So now obviously you're married. So we spoke a bit before we came online about your work now and your business. First of all, beard over bar. Explain to me that beard over bar.
Yeah, so I think when this is going back how many years ago now? This must have been like 3-4 years after I become Muslim. So I was probably like 26, 27. It's when I started getting to know the brothers in North London, like Edmonton sides, Tottenham sides, like Stoke Newton. I arranged to train brothers in it, calisthenics. So I used to go Edmonton Masjid and we'll pray Fajr in the morning. Normally be around 5:30. We'll pray Fajr, and then from then we'll run to the park. Park was like maybe like 10 minutes. And the park had it was like a calisthenics park, so I had all the bars, pull-up bars, this and that. So we used to train there for like an hour and a half, and we used to do that regular every weekend. So it was like a little community thing that we built up, and was doing that for about 2 years. So the whole beard over bar thing came. Was like, if you can't pull your beard over the bar, the rep don't count. So that's where it came from, and then I just kind of ran from it from there. Because it has a meaning to me in it, of my start of my journey as a Muslim. So it's like a lot of people see it and they don't see like what it means, but it means something to me. Do you know what I mean? That's where it comes from.
Excellent. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of do a reset now. Now the brothers Marshall introduced himself. We know a bit about him. So we are 4 brothers here concerned with building the Muslim community mindset. And I think one of the you might say great things here, that we're all family men. We're all building our tribe in these difficult times. Okay, let me go back. You mentioned that you watched last week's podcast.
Yeah, with
Bilal, with
Musa.
Musa, and you mentioned there are you got a few points in mind that you wanted to mention.
Yeah.
Does anything come to mind?
Trying to think now. Do you know what I made? I've made a couple notes in it. Just a couple bullet points.
Make a note and then.
Yeah, I've done that. It's kind of.
But anyway, let me
Yeah,
show.
okay. So
go on.
one of them was that can't remember the point, but it was a discussion that where Musa was talking about like obviously the black community, like when you've got a group of boys, stuff like that, how to best deal with them. And I think his point was that we're still learning, we're still out here trying to find ourselves and trying to find the best way to be black and Muslim, and and fit in with the community. But I think that sometimes you have to be selfish, because the reason why I say that is because when you look at other communities, yeah, like you speak about the Asian community, they don't look for us for help, you know, or when they have trouble, they don't need to come to us for us. They already got that. Or when they've got something good, they don't need to necessarily share that with other communities. So why is it that whenever, as Black people, we have something good, we need to run and go and either try and impress or ask others for help? Why don't
share
we
it?
we'll share it. Why can't we just keep that?
But I feel, because you see, we're Muslim, yeah. I'm with you, yeah. But I feel like a lot of people, their things are cultural Islam. So it's like, I kind of feel like, you know, as Caribbean Muslims, African Caribbean Muslims, it's like we're meant to, it's like, even though it's like we're kind of doing what, like, it's like, oh, you don't share, so I'm not going to share with you. You're selfish. I need to be selfish. But Islam don't teach that. So it's like we're coming from outside of Islam into Islam. And it's like, well, if I bring you in and share with you, that's because what the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has taught us, that we're all brothers. So just because you man's just in your little camp, yeah, I'm Bengali and I'm Pakistani and I'm Chinese and I'm Somali, you're in your little camp. Does that mean that we have to create our little camp to be like, right, we're just gonna look after our own interests? I get what you're saying, like we need to build up our race, because that's like fundamentally you have to build up your race.
Anyway,
if you don't love yourself, you can't love other people. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know there's a balance there, but then it's like I feel like the model how Islam is now, like for example, like in Brixton, you got Somalis up the road, you got Algerians around the corner, you got African brothers up the road. It's like, bro, like Nigerians in Camberwell. It's like, brother, this can't be Islam, bro. Like,
no, but I mean the evolution of every, you might say, ethnic minority or ethnic whatever wanted to have a masjid which has its cultural nuances is fine, but it's whether or not the Jamaican man's going to invite the Nigerian and the Nigerian's going to invite the Somali. Is there interaction between the communities, and are there community activities where everyone gets involved? Do you get what I'm saying? So I think
collaboration. Do we have to collaborate?
Yes,
like,
it's about the collaboration.
Like, if we build up our race, it's good. I agree with you, because it's like, I totally agree. Like, you have to build your race. You have to build yourself and build your race. But then it's kind of like coming into Islam from the outside. I kind of despise a lot of Muslims, bro. Like, it's like I feel kind of sick, bro. Because it's like, bro, like this religion is a beautiful religion. It's a powerful religion with powerful rules and principles. And it's like, what I see the people living, it's like, it ain't what Islam's taught us to be. So it's like, I get what you're saying. I agree with you about building up our race, and I think it's crucial that we do. But then it's like, how do we then, after we've built our race, okay, I'm gonna marry my daughter to you, even though you're Chinese, or I'm gonna marry my daughter to you, even though you're Indian. It's like, I don't care where you're from. I just want to marry you to a good brother. Like, is it gonna be just a thing of, oh yeah, no, it's just like, keep it in our race, keep it in our tribe, keep it in our, because that's what I see in like different communities, you know.
I hear what you're saying. It's like, I get exactly what you're saying, but my thing is just like, I'm saying initially we need to build up ourselves first, because you know, when it comes to everything, the trauma, the finance, the knowledge, all of that, we have to have a foundation. We can't give and can't share if you don't have a foundation. Sometimes we're exhausting resources. There's nothing there to give, but we're giving stuff that you ain't gonna take from your kid's mouth to go give to next man. Do you see it? So you have to kind of build up your thing first, and then open your hands out or reach out to other people. But I think no one really is reaching out to us. No one is helping us build up. So if we don't do it for ourselves, it's never going to happen, and we're just going to go round and round in this endless circle, and then we're just going to blame and we're going to have hate, when really and truly we just need to stand up, take action, and get the job done.
Okay, I want to contextualize the word build up yourself, right? Because the first time we know we have to build up ourselves is when we want to get married, innit? So the parents or the girl's father can say, well, okay, who are you, Mr. Abdullah or Mr. Ubaidullah? Yeah, I'm this man. I've just come out from the job center. Like we have. They might be saying, right, you have to. Well, we really want you you in university? Do you have a house? And you're like, no, I'm getting there, innit? Like, so that's the first thing that's gonna hit us. Like for myself,
You need
when
a
I'm
good
gonna go
sister.
see when I'm
You
gonna
need
go
a
and see
good
the
sister.
parents, they're looking at me like, who are you? What you got? You know what I'm saying? So I got away with it, but it's hard when you're marrying other communities. They expect certain things. They
That's why
expect
I think
they expect certain. So if we're not there yet, if we're saying, well, we're finding it difficult to marry into other communities, it may be because we ain't ready financially, morally, deen wise. We're not ready. So, and I'm gonna ask you a question right now. What are your expectations when you come to marry your children? How are you gonna call the man to account? I can say, well, the man's got Dean and he's giving you, I don't know, 2 pair of earrings, and that's it. Are you gonna say, well, no, where's the G's? Where's the
Character.
grands?
His
What are you
character
gonna say?
is his character.
I want to ask each one of you a question when you about your children when they're married off. What are you gonna say to a brother that's gonna come to you?
Who you
Other
asking?
him, you're a bit quiet. I want
Yeah.
to wake you up.
I am quiet. I'm just listening, you know. New brothers
Mm,
come through, so obviously I'm just trying to listen to what he's got to say, etc.
mm,
For me personally, you got to come with substance, you know. Substance meaning is like what Abdullah just said. You got to have character. The first point, standing character, is the deen. You know, how are you in the deen first and foremost? You know, because this is one of the things that we've been, you know, directed to look at someone's deen first and foremost. But then it's like your character outside the deen as well, because some people, they have, mashallah, their deen is good, their religion's good, it's great, but their character, like them, who they are, their usul, their core,
The
it's a
basics.
mess. It's a mess. Like, you're a mess. Yeah, you know Quran. Yeah,
Yeah.
mashallah,
You ain't got no love.
mashallah.
Where's
But
the love in your heart?
you don't practice it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you've got it, you memorized it, but you
Book
don't practice it. You know,
theories.
so
It's a
you know,
theory.
it's a lot of theoretical situations. You know, so that's first and foremost. But then it's also about, like, when I'm saying character, it's what are you willing to do? Do you see where I'm coming from? Because everybody can be a family man and all those things there, but are you willing to go above and beyond? You know, when things need to be done, are you looking to sweep the streets for your family because that's the only way that you can find right now in order to put bread on that table?
So
You know, are you going to work them long days, you know, and come back exhausted, but still have to be the husband and, you know, the father for the children? You know, these are the characters that I'm looking out for. Do you get me? Regardless of where you're coming from, is, do you have those sort
those
of
qualities,
characteristics?
ethics, yeah.
Yeah, because those things are fundamental. And then I want to know your lineage, because like I always say to my brothers, you know, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So you see, when you're looking at a sister, for me personally, I want to see how your mum is. Yeah, because if your mum is a nice stand-up person, then 9 times out of 10, like, she's instilled certain characteristics within you. Do you get me? If your mum's horrid, she's moving mad. Do you get me? I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's always the situation, but 9 times out of 10, those are the things that you grew up and you saw. So now you feel that that's okay and it's acceptable. Yeah. So these are the things where I'm saying character is a big thing. So yeah, that's what it is for me personally.
I mean,
Education is one of those things, you
yeah.
know. And like I said, your drive, you know. But education for me, because it's like I say, for me personally, I was a smart youth, but I never utilized it. Yeah, so I allowed the road thing and all that to consume me. And when I left school, I left with basically nothing. Yeah, but I'm not that youth. Like, I have that intelligence
You have
about
the
me,
discipline, bro.
but I didn't utilize it. Do you get me?
Yeah.
I didn't buckle down and do what I needed to do. So for me, it's like, you can be a grinder, but then if you have that thing to
Consistency.
fall back on, yeah, then when you, if the grind don't work, then you could always fall back on your education and be able to do something outside of the grind. Do you
Yeah.
get me?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what it is for me, and that's why I push the education, because it's like we all talk about, like I say, hijrah and all these things here. When you go to another country, how are you going to benefit the people? Do you get me? Because you can't just go over there
Yeah.
and, you know, like I say, like my thing is with your long hands in it. Do you get me? Where, you know, you're kind of styling on the people. Do you get me?
With your red
I
passport.
know for me personally, I want to be a person that me and my children, we're benefiting the people. We're able to show you things or bring something to your community,
Add to the
benefit
country.
ourselves and benefit you.
So
Yeah,
it's
you
important to have a skill set. So it's important to have a skill set, something that you can, you know, benefit the people with.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine. Okay, so we come from Jahiliyyah, and we take our Shahada. Say we're, I don't know, 18, 19, 20. What would be the best program to shape up the man so he's ready for marriage? Obviously, he's going to go class, he's going to learn his deen, memorize some Quran. But now, are we going to say to him, brother, you want to get married? And what are you doing? Don't worry about that. You know, pay the dowry later on. Like, what's
Money.
best for that brother in order to, as we say, we want to develop men that are better than us, that can put 10 grand into the masjid, that can open up this institute and do XYZ. What do you think is the best tarbiyah for these men in order to say, you know, this man now is ready for marriage, he's got a balanced education, etc., etc. Because back in the days it wasn't like that. It was easy to get married, maybe a bit too easy, and that's why maybe there was, you know, a lot of issues going on back then.
Ak, you see me, yeah. You see, when I went to Brixton Market, I went and sold some oils today to a brother, yeah. And when I got there, he was a young brother, and I said, "Is this your family shop?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "SubhanAllah." It's like my man, he's living his father's plan, so it's kind of like he's stepping into his father's plan for him. So he's not starting from nothing. They own a butcher shop, and they own a fishmonger's next door. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's kind of like the you know, I say personally, it's like, for me, business is very important. You know, as you know, like as parents, you know, it's kind of like, as parents, we should obviously build something that, you know, we can just give to our children, so then they can, you know,
They got a good start.
Yeah, so they got a good start in life. You see what I'm saying? And then I think then they can start thinking about the basics. Like, but I think, you see, because a lot of us come from broken families and dysfunctional backgrounds, it's like we're building foundations. I'm linking man that's younger than me, that's like 19, 20. And it's like, bro, they don't got to build no foundation. They just got to like just marry a sister or do this or go uni, or like the foundation's been built for them. So I'm saying, so I think personally, I just feel like, you know, like business for me personally, I feel like obviously you need to learn the deen, but it's like, in this world, what do young men, what are the things that Allah says in the Quran that we like? We like women. We like finely branded horses, which is cars. So there's certain things that we like in it. So it's like we're all the same. Like, we just got to tap in to what it is a young man wants and a young woman wants. It's like they want security, they want to feel confident, they want power, they want strength. You know, it's like, you know, and you know, I feel like, you know, you learn the deen, but then it's like you have to. Me personally, I just feel like you need money. That's my thing. Like, you need to have generational wealth. You need to build businesses. You know, and yeah, it's like you need to have money, man. Like, that's really for me, that's like the most important thing.
Bilal, so let me put you in a situation. A brother knocks on your door. He says, "Yeah, I would like to marry your daughter." How are you gonna vet him? How are you gonna? We gonna put on it. We gonna say to him, like, you know, he's you know him from the mosque. He's a religious brother.
I'm going to give him that firm handshake. You know, that firm handshake.
Mm,
It makes sure
mm,
eye contact is there. But no, you know, you obviously, you know, you don't want to intimidate the brother too much. He already had the respect to come to the door and speak to you. Could be doing it behind your back, so you got to
yes.
respect that from the get go that he's tried to do the right thing. But yeah, for me, is yeah, it can't be. I have to tell a man it's not an overnight thing. If he wants to be in my family, then
Yes.
there's a process. You know what I'm saying? Have a couple meetings. I'm gonna know you, your character, where you're coming from, where you're going to, where you want to go to, your family, all of that. Because yeah, for me to, I've got 2 daughters and they're my eldest. I've got 6 boys, so
Mashallah.
it's like, you know, they don't have elder brothers in it. Do you know what I mean? I'm the one that protects them, even though the brother will inshallah protect them once they get older. But you know, for the time being, I'm gonna have to be king of the castle kind of thing. You
Yes.
get? So it's like, yeah, I just need to. Yeah, it's not a rush thing, man. It's definitely not a rush thing. You know,
Is
yeah.
the dowry is a dowry how much dowry the man pays? Because obviously it's up to the daughter how much dowry she wants. So say she's all right.
Do you know what?
Oh,
I think yeah, what I'll say to my girls, don't have an expectation. Like obviously, you know, you have to value yourself, but don't allow this dowry, allow that to be flexible. Let that depend on what he's bringing to the table and what he's earning. If a man could come to me and all the confidence, arrogance, all of that come from a rich family, and I'm gonna look at him and think, no, do you know what I mean? It's not all about wealth. So for me, if I you know, I don't want a man who's got no aspiration, no education, no goals, but got the best of character, the best of moral. Yeah, you're a nice person, cool. Then you know, I'll link you up with one of my sons. You can be friends. You know what I'm saying? It's like I want someone balanced all around for my girls. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to be rich. They could be rich in character and maybe they've got a dream to build up a business. Maybe it's something I can help them with. Maybe I could put them in touch with the right people. But it's like I want to see their game plan. I want to see I want to pick their brain. Do you know what I'm saying? I want to see, you know, what's really going on behind those eyes, because
what about education then? What about education? Do you expect them to have a minimum amount of education, a degree or a profession in something?
For me,
Be a
it's not.
tradesman.
Education is not all that. Like I said, it all depends. You can't. Don't come to me and tell me, oh, you want to be a doctor and you ain't even got out of college. So it ain't making no sense. So it has to, you know, it has to be realistic. It all depends. You know, I want someone to have the minimal, at least, you know, gone through school, done their GCSEs. And if they haven't, then I want to hear the story. Do you know what I mean? It's all about the story. It's all about where you've come from. It's all about your drive, all of that. But for me, education is not, because I've done what I've done with limited education as well. Like I've, you know, completed my GCSEs, and tried the whole college and A-level thing. It didn't work out for me. I tried it twice. I had to drop out twice because of family and other things. And we live in a very different time now. We live in a day and age now where you could be making money from your 7, your 8. There's man's playing games, streaming live games, making thousands and thousands of pounds. Do you understand? We're not in the time where you need to go get a degree or you're a waste man. It's if you need to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're a waste man. But you know what I mean? The plan don't have to be uni, don't have to be higher education. It could be you just seeing something and making a plan and going for it. And you know, a lot of people are successful. So yeah, it's just, for me, it's just more what a person's about. You know, their substance, like you said before, and what they're going to bring to the table. Because there's two, as we can bring this back to the road. Like you can have a man who's always up, but he could be going through the madness. Man could be getting drawn out, robbed here and there, in and out of bin there. But as soon as he's on that line, he's up again. You know what I'm saying? It's all about your networking, how you move around the chessboard. You've got mans who work for something for 20 years underneath someone. One day they get let off. That's it. They've got nothing to show for themselves. So it's all about you. It's all about what you can bring, what you can make out of nothing. Do you understand? What kind of man are you? Are you a man that, like, okay, you've got a degree, you're a computer engineer and this and that, lockdown's here now, this is here now, you can't do your job, are you going to go and work in a retail so that you can put food on the table? If you tell me no, you're too proud, I'll rather give my daughter to someone else. Do you understand? So you're going to go through all lengths to make sure that...
I think you got to have heart. So whatever it is, it's
But
like
these,
you
I'm
got
saying these things you can't judge whether a man's got heart. Obviously, he's gonna have. So okay, he's gonna come at your door. You can say, okay, you're not ready. What are you putting forward to say? Because the reason I mention this point is this, because back in the day, we used to criticize other communities for saying their dowry was $5,000, or the man ain't looking at you because you didn't do your university degree, and we used to see that as something which is not pious. The dowry should be as low as possible, as long as a man's got deen, it's fine. Do you get what I'm
but
saying?
sometimes
And if we're saying if we're pushing for a point that okay, we want to build a community, we want to build men, we want to build families. Do we need to change our perspective in order to raise the bar? So the man says, all right, I can see the man, and if I want to marry this brother's daughter, I know before I knock on his door, I got to be ready. That message has to be sent out that, right, okay, I want to get married, I'm gonna fast until I'm ready. Do you get what I'm saying? But I think we're too eager to say, you know what, right, it's hot out here, I can't fast, and I'm just gonna knock on my man's door, and if he says no, he says no.
yeah, but
How do you send that message out?
It depends on the background, I think, yeah, because it's like if you would have been like, one of these, I'm not just saying like you pick one of these parents, you want the 10 grand, the 20 grand, you want him to have gone to doctors and uni, and you want to meet his mum and his dad. Well, if you would have met me, unfortunately, there ain't no mum and dad for you to meet. There ain't no money. There ain't no money. So you're gonna have to go by me, like how Bilal said. It's like you meet me, and it's kind of like he said, I went and met my wife's dad. I met the mum and had dinner at their house. So just that alone, and I even said, if your parents don't like me, I don't want to marry you, because that's a prerequisite for me that your dad has to respect me. If your dad don't respect me, I'm not gonna marry your daughter, and I know that your dad don't even like me or respect me. See what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I just think it's, for me, it's like you just gotta have a heart, just.
Okay. Let me use you as an example then. So you went to the father's house with what? Nothing in your pocket.
Well, just my dreams.
You just went there with heart.
I just went there with my heart, my dreams, just my manhood. I went there with my manhood. That's what I went there. I went there with my manhood.
Your chest was up. You push up your chest.
No, do you know what? I just went there. I just went there with just knowing that I've made dua to Allah, and like my wife's from a Muslim background, so it's kind of like those barriers where people want big money. It's kind of like they're from a humble background, so it's like they're not looking at because someone could come along with money, but they wouldn't like the person because of just who they are as a person or their character. So it's kind of like them being, from a humble background, they're not respecting that. Like they're respecting someone that can protect their daughter, or someone who is, just a real person, like down to earth real. You see what I'm saying? So for me, like Bilal said, the fact that I went and met the parents and they, we had dinner and they judged me, they felt me out. It's kind of like your gut will tell you whether you like someone or you don't. Like, just because a lot of the times people that's got money, some people they hide behind their money. Like their possessions is like a shield to cover their insecurities and to cover because they're hiding something. You see what I'm saying? They're hiding because they're lacking something. So they got all this money and materials and they got it as a front. But then when you dig through it, it's kind of like there's nothing there. See what I'm saying? I've got something there already. So if you give me money don't add to me. I'm already me. So I will add to money. You see what I'm saying? Money don't add to me. I'll add to money. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of, because you could be a man with money and someone could just come and rob you. You see what I'm saying? Like you can marry a man who's got money and he's a coward. Man comes and just robs him and slaps him up. And it's like, like money ain't gonna make you be a man. But then you got someone that's broke, yeah, that's from wherever, that's rolling with your daughter that you know, nah, my man will die for whoever he's with, whoever his family is, he's gonna die for his. So money don't really mean nothing. So if now you give that kind of serious man like that money now it's like, okay, now you got, you know, a serious man with resources. But it's like money don't make you a serious person though. You see what I'm saying? So you know, I don't know if anyone else wants to elaborate on that.
I mean, I'm talking about in the obviously within the context of Brixton, South London, what happened in the past, trying to do better going forward, so that we don't find we can. How can you say?
I think it's ambition, Ack. It's a lack of ambition. Like, it's like with Brixton, for example, it's like, you see money sometimes as well. Money is a reflection of, so money to me, like, is just a reflection of my resourcefulness. So it's like money's a token to show raw. Like, I went here, I done this, I done that, I done this, I done that. Like, I'm very resourceful. And it's kind of like, you know, a lot of people, for me personally, it's like there's no ambition. It's like man's happy to just have kids, leave them, marry this sister, marry that sister, divorce them, and there's no ambition, there's no expectations, and especially from the community as well. It's kind of like, I'll give it like.
Okay, let me. I know where you're going, but let me just summarize. Let me summarize this thing. As I said, I'm just going back to the thing: building community mindset. We have families ourselves, and we're looking for men. We were looking for men for our daughters, and you're going to see a revert brother, because we know if you live in a certain area, they might have trauma. They might have a background, right? So we have to be cautious in regards to who we give our daughters to. How do you check out the brothers? How are you going to check him out? How are you going to check out his past? How are you going to vet him? That's one thing. And two, how do we advise our daughters not to make mistakes? Because sometimes you might give them you might vet the brother, but then other things might be happening. You get me? And we know the disasters and horrors that's happened in the past. How do you vet them in them? How do you make them step up their game?
Is he a coward? Is he a coward? A coward wouldn't want to meet you. Just, I'm gonna give you a lot of time to give your
Go on.
A coward won't want to meet
the father.
So like these brothers that's been abusing sisters, their MO is mostly they're not meeting the dad. They kind of avoid, or if they're meeting the dad, it's a kind of dad that they know he's a very soft man, naive, gullible man. So it's kind of like you're more manly than him. But a serious like these brothers that's abusing sisters, they're going for sisters that ain't got no dad, they ain't got no big brother. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, that's kind of, you know, what these kind of man do, innit? You see what I'm saying? But I'll let you lot give your
Abdurrahim, man, you're thinking deep, brother. You're in a thinking mode.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, it's like you can only do so much, innit? Like, let's just keep it 100. You can only do so much. But it's like, if you're really serious about a situation, like, because this is a deep situation, we're talking about giving over our daughters to the next guy. Do you get me?
Yeah.
But it's like, you're talking about the dowry. Now, obviously, for me, yeah, it needs to be set to a certain standard that man knows, right, do you know what, this ain't no light thing. But I don't feel like, and for me, like, if I said, well, it's a 5 bags dowry. If it was said that it's a 5 bags dowry and he didn't have it, like, I expect him to be like, well, do you know what, uncle? I respect what you're saying and I think it's suitable for the situation, but I ain't got no wealth like that. But I'm looking to do, it's like what Bilal said, I'm looking to do A, B, C, D in order to get that. If I can see the vision, I can see the plan, I'm saying, right, okay, he's serious about it. Yeah? Or I'm working a job right now, I can't really do that. But what I can do is I can put this away for, and then, do you get me, work towards the 5 grand. I'm saying, okay, he's thinking of ways to do it. Yeah? He's not just knocked on the door, heard 5 grand and said, I can't do that, and just walked away. Like, he bounced. I'm like, raw, what is that? What?
I'm glad you bounced.
You ain't even going to tell me, raw, brother, how you going to work towards it?
You're not going to...
You're just going to walk away just like that. Just walk away. You're just gonna walk away, brother. Like I'm looking at this Don walking away, thinking he weren't serious.
He weren't serious.
His heart were in it. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Because when I heard that, automatically I'm thinking, boy, I might not have no money, but I'm gonna tell you about Rob. Can we work out a Klarna thing? Like, can we Klarna this? Like, can we get to that position there? Do you get me? Like seriously, because I'm invested in this situation. I'm really trying to make this go on. Do you get me? And then not only that, remember, we're gonna ask around, innit? Like, no one don't want to put no one in the hot water. Let's just keep it 100. You're gonna ask these brethrens and rare. They're gonna say, yeah, he's a good guy, rare. And they don't really know him, innit? Because it's like what we said last time. You only really know someone when you do business with them, when you live with them,
you travel with them,
and you travel with them. So you don't really know, innit? So for me as a dad now, I'm saying, right, I'm gonna ask around, rare. And me personally, I want to meet your parents, bro. I want to meet your parents. If you got parents to meet, I want to meet them. I want to know who you're around. Who are you around?
Ain't got no parents.
You
ain't got no parents. You ain't got no parents. Who are you around then? Who are you around every day? Because it says what? You're on the religion of your closest friend, right? So who's your closest friend? Let me meet that person. Do you get me? Well, do you know what? I got a local one business. I sell perfume, etc. It might not be your thing, but come roll with me. Yeah. So I can see how you are as a person. Do you get me? I want to be with you, innit? If you ain't got no one that I can look to and question about you, but even if I can, I still want to roll with you, innit? To see how you are as a person when you're rolling with me.
That's a bit uncomfortable because remember when, like, as a young man, like it's only now that I'm really breaking the ice with my wife's dad in regards to that, because I'm feeling like a man now. So I can, as a man to man, I'm a father, I'm a husband, you're a father and a husband, we can relate now. But before it's like I'm little man, you're big papa, and I've got to roll with you and just kind of be
humble,
feeling all mad nervous around you.
Yeah.
So like, you got to remember that I might just be proper nervous around you, and it's kind of like, you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like I don't know what you.
Because it's a new,
it's a
new
cool
thing
for
for
me,
you.
though,
That's cool.
That's cool for me
That's
because
cool.
then you're showing a level of humbleness.
Yeah.
I might have you around me, and the youth's just moving mad. Uncle, what? Where? I'm saying, bro, hold on. This youth's loud out here. Like he's not even got. He's no composure. He's out here. Like yeah. He knows my name. Abdul Rahim. He's not even calling me uncle. He's just calling me Rahim. I'm like, bro, hold on. This youth has no filter. Do you see where I'm coming from? So I'm like, bro, I'm really taking this into context. I'm going back to wifey. I'm saying, my man was calling me by my full name, no uncle, no nothing. He was just moving a bit mad. He was loud. Like all these things I'm taking into consideration. Yeah, the man that was more humble, he was holding his composure, rare. Like there's a balance in it. But these are the things I need to put you in hot water. I need to see how you're gonna really be. Because if we're not testing all these little situations here, that's the reason why man's daughter's coming back with a bruised eye and talking about my man boxed her up. Because man didn't go to the measures. You see where I'm coming from?
But he might be a good actor though, This is the thing.
But that's what I'm saying. Actor, so if you're not gonna put him under hot water, and at least try to roll with him to see to give yourself the benefit of the doubt, like Rod, you know what, I've done the best that I can do. If my man was acting for so long, there's only so much I can do, bro. Do you get me? But if you're not gonna do that, because this is your daughter, bro.
Okay.
Like, this ain't just like
I got a question.
Daughter, this is gold.
Let me jump.
More than gold.
Let me say something. I mean, because you might say we're a revert community. How and as I said, maybe the sister's family is not Muslim. She's coming into the community. Is she safe? Have we made it safe? Have we made it difficult? Not even difficult, but if a brother's coming, he's got to have his A game. But is she vulnerable? Are sisters vulnerable because the community hasn't raised the bar, or the level
very vulnerable
in the community Like man can't right. I'm not even gonna
Extremely
approach no one
vulnerable.
until I've got everything patterned down. But he said, nah, you can get married easy, man. Just go there, speak to their mom. I'll back you up, and it's just that done deal.
Extremely
Like,
vulnerable.
It's either it's either the two extremes. It's either the family are making it impossible for them to get married because there's too many restrictions, too many boxes to tick, or it's just easy. Like as you can say, any man can just run through and
bounce,
couple bars and take the ring. You see it, but it's like there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a medium. Like our daughters are not charity cases. You get me? It can't always be about money because I'm not trying to sell my daughter. So it's like. I want to ask you, what do you think is reasonable? What do you think is reasonable? What can you do? Like, if you're gonna take, I already feed my daughter. I clothe her. She lives here. She's good. You're gonna take her out and make her be in a worse condition that she's already in? It's not happening.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You know, have you got your own property? Are you looking to rent? How much have you thought about how much it's gonna cost? I want to ask these questions. If man's like, you don't know what he's saying, then I'm thinking you ain't ready for marriage. No. You ain't thought this out. 100. But if a man knows what his outgoings are, what his incomings are, what he's looking to make, if he can put 3 months aside and give that as dowry to what the expense or whatever, I'll say, do you know what? I already know you already got my daughter for at least 3-4 months. You're good. But you're gonna grind, you're gonna work hard, and you're gonna come to me for support if you need it. Because I'm your father too, I'm your family too now. You see it.
Right.
So I can see you can, if you're gonna take my daughter, and after I've accepted you, and I can see that you're the right match, I know you're not gonna struggle. Because why am I gonna put my daughter in a situation where I know they struggle from the get-go? I ain't gonna do that. Don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. And that's what happens with vulnerable sisters. They get put in situations where they're struggling from the get-go. Or maybe it was nice, the 1-2 weeks honeymoon period was nice, you get me, roses, this and that. Do you know what I mean? Hotels, quick holiday. But then realistically, when you're coming back to real life now, what is there to show? What's the brother really got to show for you? What is he going to give you? What's he going to, you know what I'm saying?
You see, in my situation, I'm kind of blessed because, like, I would have, if I would have met you as a father, I probably wouldn't have ticked none of your boxes. And it's now I'm being real. And it's kind of like sometimes it takes, teamwork for you to blossom. Sometimes it takes you to marry the sister for her to give you that love, to know that you got this woman that's got your back, for you to now bring out the best version of yourself. Because now it's 100%. Like, now I got
back. You know what?
But then we could both be sleeping on the floor together. We could both be grinding. We got 20p to our name, like we're going through it together. And it's kind of like if I would have met you as a dad, it's like, well, you ain't ticking no boxes. And it's like,
I ain't trying to be too harsh, but I'm going to say, you can't run in it. I'll say, you sleep on the floor and let my daughter enjoy the heating of the yard until you finish. You get me? Yeah. So it's like, I appreciate the hustle, and it's like, I've come from nothing as well. So I know, just like yourself, my brother, allow me back. You get me? I know. So it's like, if I can look into a man's eyes, if I can feel a man's energy in his presence and can see that he's real and what he's telling me is the truth, then I can say, do you know what? I wanted this and this, but you've got that, and I can work with it. Come back in 6 months. Come back in 4. Do you know what I'm saying? If you come back in 6 months and you're at the same situation, if you can do meetings every couple of weeks or whatever, and you can say, and you came to me and said, I've got 1 penny to my name, but I'm gonna go for this job interview in 2 weeks, or I'm opening up this business here, and I'll say, okay, well then let's see what the situation is in 3 months. If I can see that there's improvement and you actually really want to marry my daughter, you're gonna put the work in. Because if you're telling me now that you want me to give my daughter to you with nothing, and you two are just gonna, it's gonna happen, and you're gonna do it together, ride or die, say nothing, cool. But you can do that without taking my daughter's hand. And when my daughter comes to you, maybe she's going to increase you in more. Of course, she's going to increase you in more. But you need to at least have something for me to give you that opportunity.
You might have the basics. You might have the basics. Like you got somewhere, you've got a council flat. You've got somewhere to live. So you got a foundation to build upon. But you ain't got no car. You ain't got no money. Like all these dunya things, you ain't got it. Like,
no,
but you will die.
You know,
but you die for her though.
But
Like,
you know what is, you
she's
know,
with you on the road, she's safe with you. If a man
if
tries
your
to
wife is to
violate
call
her,
you, yeah,
huh?
if your wife is to call you now and be like, I ain't got no heating, you're gonna say to her, oh yeah, in 2 weeks I'll come. Do you get me? You're gonna go and do what you need to do to get that heating sorted out.
Yeah.
Do you get me? You're gonna, even if it was your last 20 in your pocket, you're gonna put 10 on a gas card and maybe £10 get some milk and toilet roll and do what you need to do. You get me?
A woman will sometimes a woman brings out the best in you, because it's like,
you
wanna, it's like, because it's like, well, you got this woman now, and it's kind of like nice bringing out your masculine instincts now. So it's like, where before, because I tell you, before I was married, it's like, because remember, we're coming from Jahiliyyah, so there's certain behaviors that is like, I might have been battling, and once I got married, I might have slipped up a little bit. And it's like, because you got this good wife here now, it's like, bruv, you can't do that no more. Like, you can't. It's like, now you understand. It's like, bruv, you can't, like, that's not acceptable no more. So it forces you now to like level up. Where if you're just a bachelor and you're a single man in your yard by yourself, it's so many things that it's like you can just be tempted by or strayed by. And it's like, this is why I think the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, like, marriage is half your deen, because it's like, when you're married now, it kind of, I think it just changes the whole psychology as a man. You know what I'm saying? So,
but that's for certain man,
certain people.
You get me? So it's like what Bilal said, innit? The eyes never lie. You can look in a man's eyes and find out what he's really like. You get me? So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, it's okay as a father to be like, do you know what? Yeah, I hear where you're coming from. Show me the progress. You get me? But right about now, as a father, my daughter's going to stay here with me. Do you see where I'm coming from? Because I'm a protector. I'm her. You get me? Right about now, you're saying you want to be that. I'm going to allow you to do that. So let's see where you're going to be in such a time and Because I feel like as fathers, as parents, we really need to like extend the time frames, you know. Are you lot really sitting down? Do you lot really know each other? Yeah. Like, because it's like what Abdullah just said, yeah. You see the woman, you see a woman can make you change everything about yourself, whether it be for the good or the bad. Yeah. And I wanna thank Allah for blessing me with my woman. Yeah, and I'm sure the brothers want to bless, like thank Allah for the blessings that they've had, because it's like a good woman will make you run a hurdle, like run a race, jumping over 1,000 hurdles, and you're still not tired because you have purpose, bruv. And if you ain't got a woman that's giving you that purpose, that drive to want to do this thing here, brother, it's null and void, bro. You ain't gonna do all the rest. Do you get me? So if my daughter is your purpose, you're gonna put things into action. And if you're showing me that you can't put that into action, then I'm seeing it as my daughter's not your purpose, then, my brother. So you're not really riding out how you really want to ride out for. Do you get me? Because I'm gonna tell man from now. You see, previously before marriage, I was a mess, bro. And I came in with my marriage with my mess and my 1,000 bags. And I'm letting man know I still got a couple bags here. Do you see where I'm coming from? But for that woman, you start dropping certain bags and you're like, all right, cool. You start losing that. And you start buying new clothes and putting it in your wardrobe and you get me? And your chest of drawers. Because you're like, this is where I'm trying to stay. So I'm trying to pattern up my house. And that's what a good woman would do. So if my daughter ain't allowing you to think like that, then I'm looking like, I don't think she's ready for you, bro.
But then there's certain brothers like that, you know, there's one brother from Brixton, for example, he's got beer money. And he might be able to have, you know, 4 wives, for example. So he might just be like, your daughter's just one of many, innit? So he might be able to like overly provide and achieve. Like his attitude might be like, it's like your daughter ain't the one like that. But I'm gonna do what I need to do. But he's not. But he's already doing that. He's already got his little money, and you know, because it's like he's got money, But it's like, all these sisters get treated bad, and it's like the money is some like a control mechanism, and the money is a it's like just a way to abuse them as well, like to control them and to, you know, like I said before, sometimes man's got money and it's like the money is it's like a mask for man's insecurities. So it's like a man might not know how to love a woman or to value a woman, and his money's his tool to just do what he wants, and he might tickle your boxes. It might be like he's got a nice yard for your daughter. He's a hardworking man. He's got a business. He wears the kufi. He's got the fold. He went and studied for a little bit. It's like, like, mashallah, this brother here, you know.
But he can't handle a woman.
You see a man like that,
but then when you after, it's like his brother's heartless, bro. It's heartless person. But go on, Bilal, say it.
You see a man like that, you're gonna see that from the first meeting. You get me? Because I'm not. If a man's too much textbook speech, if man's a robot, you understand? It's not. I want to know you. You get me? I don't want.
Charismatic. He might be very charismatic.
The thing,
friendly, everything.
You have to remember, bro. We've been there. We've been there. We've done the whole talking thing and sweeten up, girl, and sell dreams and this. We know, innit? We know the game, innit? That's the thing. Coming in from our experience and whatever, and having the baggage that we're having, like the brother said as well. We know the game. We know the lies. We know. We know all of that.
Say your daughter now is like she might have fallen in love now with the brother already.
But has she fallen in love? If you ain't doing
no, but I'm saying
it can happen.
2023, we've got Instagram, TikTok.
Initially, they're going school, college, uni.
Yeah, for them to know each other, they be chatting and whatever, and it's like she might all love him, he might love her, and it's like, well, dad, like, you know, like she's set on this brother, like this is the brother that I want to marry. So it's like, you don't tick all your boxes, you know, and it's like you smell all the danger signs. You see, this guy's a jinnu, and. But she's like, no, like he's the one, like he's the one for me, dad. Like I love this is the man, like this is the brother I want to marry. And sometimes, if you're not smart, she might sometimes
push her away.
You and her relationship, because it's he's now got a heart in that way. Yeah. And it's like she's now gone, she wants to experience love, and this is the first man that she wants to experience love with. Love, and it's like my dad don't like him, and it's like you become the enemy. So it's like you got to now be super smart, because you're dealing with a predator. You're dealing with a man who's super intelligent, super manipulative, and it's like you have to. It's like you got to now be playing chess with his brother. Car, he's got your daughter's heart. Your daughter wants him. They're gonna get married because she's saying, "Dad, I don't care. I want this brother. I don't care. This is the brother I want." What do you do then?
Do you know what it is? Yeah, for me, and this is something for everybody.
I'm just giving that scenario.
No, but obviously, hear this now, and this is why man has to understand.
Protect us from
the power of parenting. The power of parenting, because it's like I understand what you're saying. But you're talking about it like it's one-sided. Where is your wife in this whole situation and speaking to your daughter? And understanding her needs and understanding where she was like in her mindset. And do you get me? Your wife's supposed to be there sitting down and trying to understand what is it about the brother. You know, the little things that you're not able to get to, your wife's supposed to be able to get to.
He might have your wife. He might have your wife's soft spot as well. She might be like, that brother there, you know, that little brother there. We love him. The daughter loves him. The wife loves him, but dad don't love him. Dad don't like him though.
But listen, that's what I'm saying.
Like that smells a rat. That smells a rat.
Listen to what I'm saying to you though. As a father, you've picked a certain level of woman. Do you see where I'm coming from? So just like how you don't like that man, you're gonna express that to your woman, and your woman's gonna be able to say, "Babe, I understand where you're coming from," or "Babe, I don't understand where you're coming from." Do you see where I'm coming from? Because you didn't marry that sort of woman. Like personally, that's what I feel anyway. Like I believe, like if there's things that I'm seeing as red flags, my wife's either gonna pick it up, or when I explain it to her, she's gonna be like, "Raj, you know what? You got a good point there."
I mean,
Because women. Sometimes your wife might come and have that little conversation with you on the daughter's behalf. Say, babe, come on. She got pillow talk. Babe, come on. You know that little brother there. You know that little brother that she want. You know that little brother there. Soften you up for the daughter now. So it's kind of like.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, bro?
But,
do you know what it is as well? It comes down to trust. It comes down to trust. If you trust your wife and you know your wife properly, if she's coming to you and saying that give this brother a chance, it's for a reason. Not gonna be no light thing like she likes you shape up or you get me or anything like that. It's gonna be something. You get me? It's gonna be.
Let me say. I'll give you a perspective. I'll give you a perspective. For me, like, there's no marriage without the wali, being the father, yeah. And if the father's not happy, because men know men better. If the father's not happy, the daughter should say, it's not going ahead until you please my father. And this has come from a point of the vulnerability of sisters, of women. They'll fall in love with a nice man, and he's got, as I said, he's got long beard, white thobe, this, that. You sit down with him, look in his eyes, check him out, see how he responds, see how his behavior, ask people about him. You come back and say, you know what, I'm not really happy. The daughter should say, you know what, Dad, okay, I trust you, because the women, they don't know men like we know men. Do you get what I'm saying? But you might be in a scenario, as you said, because we've got college, everyone's mixing up work, when they're working or whatever, they're out there and they meet a man, they fall in love with a man.
You know,
that is a reality. But I'm saying, from the point of, and this is another mission we must get out to the community, for sisters, you have to listen to your wali, whether it's your father, your brother, or the imam in the masjid. That's your safeguard, because some of them men are just like wolf in sheep clothing, and that's a message we have to jump through to the sisters, because the sisters are coming in vulnerable. How much new shahadas are women? Majority of them are women. Do you get what I'm saying? And
you know,
and there's too many sweet talkers out there.
Is what I was gonna say. Like us, we don't want these kind of situations to happen, innit? Yeah, that's the reason why we're here in the first place, and that's why we want to pattern up our stuff. So we don't expect this to happen, innit? Obviously, worst case scenario, we could talk about scenarios for days. But and if any of us is tried with something like that, then of course you have to have hikmah, you have to have patience. You can't just go guns blazing. So I hear what you're saying, and that like you need to be smart. But obviously, if you pattern up things and certain things are in place from the get-go, it's less likely that that's going to happen. Do you understand? Because when you look like at certain families, I don't know, like myself, I know a couple families, I can see the dynamics, I can see how the dad is, how all the kids are, the respect, the values, this and that. It's like those they don't get in those situations because of the foundation, the unity and the strength and the trust and the respect in the family household. So that's when it brings it back to the beginning. It's like parenting, family, the house. That is gonna have a big play on the situations and what turns out in the future.
And also,
we can never mock anyone, or we can never shame or say, oh, look at that Aki, like look at that brother, he's gone through this, because Allah will test you with the same thing. So it's just you never say we're above every situation, but just know that we're preparing not to be in those situations. But if we ever are, then we're gonna obviously deal with it the right way with hikmah, and we're gonna ask the help of Allah and inshallah the community as well. Do you get it?
Now, also, for me, it's like we're forgetting one big thing. It's the istikhara, seeking Allah's counsel. So if this situation was to occur and you're in that situation, the first thing you're supposed to be doing is praying your istikhara, seeking Allah's counsel and asking him, if this situation is for us, then bring it close to us, and if it's not, then move it away from us. And upon that, then you can make a judgment in it and put your trust in Allah. But not only that, we're speaking on one-sided. We're talking about sisters. What about our boys? You see where I'm coming from? We need to be teaching our boys how to be men, how to be respectful, and have all these traits that we know that maybe we was lacking because we didn't get taught that But we're supposed to be trying to impart and raise our children upon that, our boys. Do you get me? To respect women, to have that sort of level of, you can't treat women like this, and you got to have a certain level of charm and wit, and you get me, rare. So it's
But-
Yeah,
like,
Do you
it's
know on the
hard-
first statistic, on the first stat, like majority of the divorces, they're requested from the women. Something like 75%, 80% of the divorces are asked by the women.
mhm.
So either that means that the women, even means the men are not doing their thing, they're not providing, they're not protecting, don't know how to love a woman, look after her, and they're failing, or the women prefer their independence.
Well, I think
But
Go on, go on.
something is happening in society, in the Muslim society. I mean, it's happening in the Kufa society anyway. But there is a change in the mindset. Women are asking for divorce, and I speak to my daughters a lot. It's like, well, why are they asking for divorce? Their thing is the men are not stepping up to the plate, or the women they don't even want to stay married anymore. They're like, no, I've got my own money. I'm doing my own thing.
I feel like it's a bit of both, innit? Like, I feel like it's a bit of both. I feel like obviously women are temperamental, and we know this, innit? In Islam, it says that the woman is a rib, and if you try to straighten her, you'll break her, and the curved part of the rib is her mouth. Yeah. So it's like, we know that women are gonna fly off the handle. They're gonna ask for these things, etc., etc. But as a man, you're supposed to be like, wait, hold on, I'm not giving you no divorce just like that. You see where I'm coming from? And trying to work through the situation and try to understand the situation to the best of your ability and understand what's going wrong here. How is it like just last year we was good, but this year we're not? Like, is there something that I'm not doing, etc., etc., and blah, blah, blah. I feel like at the end of the day, in certain situations, as man, we don't really take accountability as well, though. Yeah,
Okay.
we will just say, "Well, she's being this, she's being that." But brother, are you really doing what you're supposed to be doing? Do you see where I'm coming from? And we got to remember that the woman of the West to the woman in the East is two different women. Do you see where I'm coming from? All women come with different things. They come with different traumas. They come with different the society's
Needs
different,
and wants,
different
and
needs and different wants. So we can't just go on like to say, okay, yeah, well, I'm putting food on the table and that's it. Yeah. How are you emotionally tending to her needs? Do you see where I'm coming from? You're out with the brothers all day, you're grinding all day. When does she get her time? Like, are you helping with the children? Are you doing all these things here? Because it's easy to say, well, that's a woman's job. Yeah, that's easy. That's the wife's job. That's the wife's job. But brother, me and my wife share that job. Yeah, and I know certain times I'm feeling like, what? I will lick down everything in this house and this clothesline everybody, because like, who you look like, and if they're dealing with that in the day in day out, it's like, raw. Hold on, you're dealing with a lot right there. And it's like, how much time do we, say, all right, babes, put up your feet. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take care of this. I'm gonna take care of that. But then on the flip side as well, it's like, are women grateful for if a man is doing that? Or is he seeing it like, bro, man has a panty, man, raw, he's on some soft man thing, and rare, and I need a bit of rough. So, like, I'm not really on all of that. I need, do you get me? So it's
trauma. Women have trauma as well,
there's a
innit?
lot of different things. There's a lot of different things, but I feel like everybody needs to look at their person, their individuals, and find out who they are, what they need, and are you catering to those needs, and then move forth.
Yeah, but you see, like we was discussing in our group, in the WhatsApp group, I find that sometimes a lot of girls, like you find girls like bad boys, and I think the bad boy thing comes from, in my opinion, is from not knowing how to be a good woman, not knowing how to get a good man. Because it's like, to get a good man, you have to have certain disciplines, and you have to have discipline to get a good man. So it's kind of like, it's easy to get a bad man because he has no values, he has no discipline. He doesn't really, he's here 1 minute and he's gone the next. He's he's in and he's out. Because I'll give you an example, with it, and that coincides with the independent woman mindset as well. Because it's like, she don't want a full man, she just wants part of a man. So it's kind of like, you know, like I remember I was speaking to one sister years ago. Bruv, she just said she wants to marry for sex. She don't need nothing. She don't want nothing. She just wants sex. She literally said she just wants sex.
And there's certain man that will give that to her. And this is what I'm trying to say. For me personally, like you hearing that as a man, you're supposed to be like, what? You just want that? That's mad. So you want to get married just for that? Man's supposed to be like, bro, you're a red flag. Like, you're a red flag. But no, man's just thinking with man's different head. And man's thinking, bro, you're a guy true, cuz. Yeah? And then you now, no, wait, hold on. And then you've had a youth with her. And then now you're wondering why she ain't doing what she needs to be doing. And you got a problem. Buddy, you should have been there in the first place, bro.
No, but then you see a weak man is happy with a woman like that. Because it's almost like she plays the man role. So she's saying she don't want, she just wants sex. So he's like, well, right, well, I don't have to do nothing. I don't have no responsibilities. What I've got to do is come around and just have sex with you. And you don't want me to be a man. You don't want me to be like, you don't want nothing out of this relationship. She just, and what I'm saying is it's like, it's sad from her behalf because it's kind of like this society's put in a position where she doesn't have no need for a man. Like she don't need you. She only needs you for her sexual pleasure now. Because it's like she's intelligent, she's got money, she's got a degree, she's got a cars, she's got a life. She feels like she don't even need you. She don't have no place for you. The only thing she's missing is the sexual.
That shows personally for me that she's broken, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Because everybody in this dunya, everybody in this dunya needs somebody, bro. You see where I'm coming from? Everybody wants that person that they can vibes with, that they can chill with, rare. It's just that some people, and this is why man them have a bag of gal, because it's like you don't know how to, you know, stay with one person and fulfill all the needs. So you try to get many different needs from different people because you can do it on a short-term thing, but you can't do it on a long-term thing. Do you see where I'm coming from? So that's what it is. So for a woman to say, oh, all I need is that, and she feels like, it's like, raw, you're broken because it's like everybody needs that person to feel secure around and feel like, they are secure around.
But
I think that type of woman, I think, is probably, that type of woman has probably been married, had a few kids, think to herself,
I don't think she had no kids, you know. I think she might have like
why am I hanging around here washing my man's clothes and that? I don't really need him anymore. Do you get what I'm saying? That may be some of the reason why people are getting divorced, because they can do everything independently and they're thinking, well, the man in my house, he's not really doing it for me. He's not a bad man. He's not like slapping me up, but he's paying the bills, but I think like, no, I want my independence, man. I want him out. I've got his yard, I've got his car, I've got his kids. Kick him out now. That's
the thing. Low expectations is kind of like the same with that brother who you know, that situation where the brother was abusing the sisters and sleeping with them, divorcing with them, that whole big fitna, One of the sisters, she actually said that she stayed with him because like the sex was good. So it's kind of like that was the reason why she stayed in the relationship. So she'll be getting abused, contacting my wife saying she's being abused, but then it's like, okay, well, here's the imam's number. You need to contact him so you can leave this brother, or so you can resolve it if you're serious. But then it's like, oh, but she told my wife that the sex is good. So it's like, okay, well, that's why you're staying with this abusive man. So it's kind of like you see what I'm saying?
What it shows is that both
sometimes
men and women most men have history and trauma, and maybe don't have such high standards of themselves. Like, you know,
100%.
They don't have a high standard.
Rocky.
It's kind of rocky. So I'm saying, as a community, when people become Muslim, somehow we have to put the message out or adopt a way of life or a standard that puts it out. Like, yo, you have to up your standard. You know, obviously, you might love yourself. Like, don't give yourself away to anybody just because they got sweet talk. And I think that needs to be addressed somehow so that we can, especially for the sisters. I think the sisters lose out all the time, man. Sisters get tough.
You know, it is well.
Brothers do it as well.
Yeah, I'm saying on who's going to lose out in that game when it's an abusive relationship. the sister might think that, yeah, I'm just here for one thing, and I'm like, but she can lose in the end, man. I think that she can lose in the end. Whether she's left with a couple of kids on the shelf, like, you get what I'm saying? So it's safer for the sisters. Find herself a wali who's gonna look after you and just hold it down until the right man comes around. Don't stray. Don't look at a man on what you call it, social media, and he looks good, and you're gonna DM the man and link up with him, and then it's gonna get messy, man.
Do you know what it is as well? Like I said, you don't really know everyone's individual situation is do you get me? Or you know, it could be to do with a man, the fact that he's not fulfilling the rights. So she's in the thing where, okay, you ain't gonna fulfill the rights, then I might as well do this by myself. I'm doing this by myself anyway. So why am I having someone control me, tell me I need to do X, Y, and Z when I might as well just do it on my ones? But your other brothers who have shortcomings or whatever, and they're doing their thing, they're trying, and whatever they do, they can't just get peace. The woman don't want to give them peace of mind. So you've got different kettle of fish. But I think it's all, we can go through all of these problems, but it all comes back to the drawing board. Same way we spoke about our daughters, same way with our sons. If now our sons are able to come to a family and say, I know both my parents, they're from here, I'm a born Muslim, because you know, if we've had our kids, and we become Muslim before they reach puberty, they're born Muslim. They're not reverts. So sometimes you might look at it, what are you? You're a revert. You're black. No. I'm a born Muslim. Do you understand? And okay, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Caribbean. And that it's like, it shouldn't be. I want it to be a case where in 10 years or 15 years, it's going to be normal for our people to be just in the Muslim community and not looked at like reverts. And that's when things will start changing. When you can bring your son to me and he knows his parents, he knows Arabic, he knows the Quran, he's been madrasa, he's come up in a stable house, he's got an education, he's now doing XYZ. Now that's when now a family cannot look at him and think, there's another. Can we trust this brother? Can we trust this black brother? Now it ain't gonna be about color, because it's a case of, you know what I mean? He's just a Muslim. You understand? He's a hardworking Muslim, and I'm gonna take him for how I see him and for his status and his family status in the community. So it's not always gonna be. We can't always look at things on how, because if we be real with ourselves, if we look at ourselves now and say back then, would you give your daughter to the guys we were back then?
No.
You understand?
No,
100% no.
If you're bringing your son, if your son's a reflection of you or who you were, what chance in hell are they gonna have to get a good sister? They ain't gonna have. They're gonna get sisters that are moving mad, because that's what's gonna be available.
Yeah.
You understand?
I mean, first of all, as a Muslim, you should want to marry whoever you want to marry, whether within your community or outside your community, right? But we can't. We live in a real world, and there are certain images other communities have of you. So it's always gonna be hard to marry an Asian or an Arab or whoever. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be the rarity. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that stereotype is gonna exist whether you're in the masjid with them and they see your kids every single day.
But you know what's strange though?
There's gonna be some prejudice, but you'll break down some barriers. My question is, why is it when brothers say, I want to get married, well, I'm going Morocco, or I'm going here, I'm going here, the sisters here are XYZ. Why is it we say that about our own community? Like, well, what's wrong with sisters in locality? Right, they're this, they're that, they don't do this. I'm like, well, what's the problem? Are you special? Are the man them special and the women them have got trauma? Or is it the other way around? The women are special and the man them got, what is it?
We're all traumatized.
We really want to dust out. Why we want to dust out? Why not marry the sisters in the community?
You see my wife, yeah, she's from a Muslim background. That's one of the things that's enabled her to know the role of a mother and a wife. And because she's seen her mum do it her whole life. Her mum's still at home now, cooking dinner as the big woman, as grandma now. So it's like these revert sisters, they haven't got that example of a mum with her husband being a mother and a wife for them to actually, now marry you, and for you to for her to know, like, how you live with a man, because just living with a man, it's the same. But I'm saying it's on the flip side for men as well. It's like, how do you live with a woman? It's like, how it's all good going and having sex, but how do you live
living
with
with them.
when
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
flipping
So
out and she's having her period and she's moving all crazy, and it's
Yeah.
like you've never lived and you've never seen your dad live with a woman, so it's kind of like the same for the man. It's never seen a man and woman live together. Same for a woman. So that's why for me as a revert, I needed someone who's stable, because like you're grounded. I'm damaged. I can't marry someone else damaged. Two damaged people together is just gonna create more damage. Because I don't know how to be a man properly. You don't know how to be a woman. So we're just gonna create a mad, chaotic house. So these
you.
revert sisters that's damaged, they need a brother that's come from a good home, that's been cultivated well with his mum and his dad, and he knows how to treat women well. We've seen women live well, but marrying someone like me, it's like it's just gonna be this chaos. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So with my wife, she had a good upbringing, so that's what enabled us to be able to build a family together, because she knows how to. She's the you know, she's got the solid
upbringing kind of thing. The upbringing, Tarbiyah. Yeah.
she's
For
got the
me, for me,
yeah.
what you're highlighting there is that the stability, it doesn't come from whether you're a revert or you're a born Muslim. Let's just get that correct. Because it doesn't matter about that. I think it's about your parenting and your foundations. It's like what Bilal said. Like at the end of the day, if we found a woman that might have had like a 2-parent household, even if they didn't live together, even if they were just co-parenting and the mum and the dad was working in unison, like to proper do what they're supposed to be doing for their child, then this mindset of, you know, like being wayward and it wouldn't be the same thing. Do you see where I'm coming from? So I don't think it comes from being a revert or being a born Muslim. I just feel like it's about parenting and foundations. So I feel like this is a fundamental to highlight to both Muslims and non-Muslims that it's not about anything, but it's about your parenting. If you feel like you have no role in your child's life as a father, or no role or whatever as a mother, or no, you don't both have to work in unison together, then you are failing your child.
Children.
You're failing your children, because they need both people to understand certain things in life. Do you see where I'm coming from? And they need that actively to see it from their mother and their father, to know that, Raj, you know what? Okay, this is how you work. You know, it's like there's many women that will be like, well, at the end of the day, my child, my son or my daughter, they don't need their dad because I went through and rare. Listen, your mum done the best job that she possibly can, because she had no other option. Now you've got the option. Take the option to take that dad. Even if he's a 1 day a week dad, it's better than a no dad at all. Because that child is going to learn something from that father. Do you see where I'm coming from? And even if he is a dead dad, he's a deadbeat dad or whatever, just seeing how you liaise with this deadbeat is going to teach that child, Raj, you know what? The hikmah and the rahmah, so the wisdom and the mercy that a woman's going to have on a man, even though he's not doing his job. So when they get older, they're gonna understand, Raj, you know, my dad didn't do the best job, you know, but my mum was like this and da. So even if that's a male or that's a female, you're teaching them something. So it's all about parenthood and foundations, personally, for me.
Yeah. No, I get it. Definitely.
There's consensus in the house for that there, Ak.
Yeah, for real. Silence speak loudly.
Man, quiet down the show, isn't it? Like,
no.
just knocked it out the park, as they say. So okay, so I'm gonna kind of give some scenarios, like revert Muslim comes to the masjid, and you had traumas, come off the road, this that. What advice would you give him? 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, you know, what advice would you give him in regards to learning his religion and getting on the right track?
Work on yourself. That's my first thing. My first thing is working on yourself, knowing who you are, knowing what you're about, knowing where you're trying to get to, all of that stuff there. You see, like, obviously the deen, we need the deen. Yes, we do. But at the same time, you need to know yourself. Yeah, you're submerging yourself in the deen. Yeah, mashallah. Yeah, I feel like make sure you can just pray your 5 times a day first off, but know who you are and what you are and what baggage you're bringing into anything. Yeah, the trauma that you have, how you're gonna try to overcome this, all these things here. You know, working on you know, as a person, like how are you trying to provide for anybody? Yeah, how are you providing
Have
for
aims,
yourself?
objectives.
What's your aims and objectives for life, etc. I feel like once we've got that out of the way, then we can start talking about, Raj, you know what, studying and submerging yourself in the deen. Do you see where I'm coming from? Because
don't you find the deen will help him do that? Because sometimes you don't even know your bad points. It's kind of like a lot of our jahiliyyah behavior. It's like I wouldn't have known. Oh, that's bad. Like you're not meant to do that, because I've now got something to compare it to. I've got the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Sahabas, and the deen is there as the guide to show me, like, bro, that's haram what you're doing. That's jahil what you're doing. That's off key what you're doing. So now I've got a guide. So for me, if you think like if you submerge yourself in the deen, that's gonna more help you to know who you are. Because it's like knowing that, for me, for example, I'm mixed race. Dad's Jamaican, mum's English. So it's like, well, if I'm listening to society, it's like, well, black people are racist, white people are racist. So it's like, where do I fit in this world? Well, the deen shows me like, well, we're all children, sons and daughters of Adam. So the deen makes me know myself and go deeper into myself instead of like trying to work out who am I in this world, like according to society, according to my opinion, your opinion. It's like, no, like submerge yourself in the deen and then fully know yourself. Do you get me, Ak?
But do you know what it is? I understand where you're coming from, yeah? And I feel like it's true, you do need to partner it up, yeah? But there's a lot of people that submerge themselves in the deen so much, yeah, my bro. It's like they forget that they're even from the dunya. Yeah. Do you get me? So man now has got a complex where, because he's learnt the deen now, he doesn't even know about mercy on the people that come from the same place that he came from. Do you see where I'm coming from? So it's like, you submerge yourself so much, you feel like you're super pious and you didn't just come from the place that you came from. And now because you got all this knowledge, you don't even know that you see the trauma that you have. It's actual trauma. Because it's hiding behind all the deen that you know, and Mr. Piety, that you ain't even picking up certain things, brothers or sisters. So that's why I said it like that. But I understand where you're coming from, and I definitely feel it should be a balance. Everything in the deen is balanced.
It's balanced.
Yeah? Everything is in this deen is balanced. We're supposed to stick to the middle path, bro. Not too far to the left, not too far to the right. That's what we're supposed to be anyway.
I think that people they need a mentor, whether it's a one-to-one or a small group. They need to have regular conversations and normalizing, opening up, and
100%.
speaking through difficult conversations and traumas, because the deen's beautiful, don't get me wrong, and it can change a man in 24 hours, certain things, not everything, but you need to have someone guide you, someone be there. You know, sometimes you just need to chat to a man, say, I'm going through this, like, I've been.
That's the point. Are we at that level? Are we at that level as brothers where we can
say, like, I've been going through this for 10 years and I lose sleep every night, I can't eat because this is what happened to my mum, you get me? And then all it takes is that conversation, man, shed a tear, hug, this and that, talk. You never know, that could be the turnaround. That could be what allows him to move on, and he's taking ownership over his thing, and now he can move on. Because you see what is, you know what, when you put people, just submerge them in the deen, and all they know is fiqh, aqidah, hadith, this and that. Next minute they take a flight, they go Egypt, they go Egypt, study 6 months, 12 months, jump on the bandwagon. Maybe they think they're doing the right thing, and some of them it helps, and then they end up getting lost. They get lost and know where they started, where they're running from, where they're running to. They're not coming back, and then there's no benefit to no one, because they might have this knowledge, or how to share it.
That's deep, because I know a brother just like that now, you know. Afwan, I had to jump in because he sound like he's talking about a brother I know, He went to Medina. He's a brother from Brixton. I'm not gonna air him out because I have conversations with him all the time. But I'm like, brother, you're being a coward, bro. It's like you went Medina, you studied, you got all this knowledge, but he comes and to you know that to hide. He even uses knowledge to hide behind why he don't share the knowledge. Because Allah says, save yourself and your family from the hellfire. So it's like, okay, so you're going to just save yourself and your family, and that's your dalil. I don't need to share no knowledge. I don't need to love no one. I don't need to help no one. I have there's no other benefit that I can have to society. There's no reason why, like you're in the West, you went and got all this knowledge of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, of the deen of Allah. And it's like, brother, you ain't even got a YouTube channel. You ain't even got an Instagram page. You ain't even, brother, you're not even on the microphone in Brixton. Like, what are you doing, bro? What's your purpose? And
do you know what is this for you?
Everyone is
on top of that, yeah, you see now on that journey, man raced for goodness, man raced for akhirah, for the hereafter, wanted to do good, yeah, but they forgot to heal. So then they forget where they came from, and then they come back now, look at other brothers and see, and look at them, like look down at them.
Yeah, but he moves like he's better than people as well. Like he's, but it's arrogance about him.
There's a blackness in their heart. You understand? There's a darkness in their heart because they forgot to heal. They forgot to, because you know what healing is. You can know when a person's troubled because he's always frustrated, quick-tempered, angry, quick to talk about people, quick to judge. When a person's healed, fam, they got patience, my bro. They're patient people, they're kind, and they're soft. Of course, you can switch it on and off when you want, no problem. But it's a thing where when you're a person that's healed, you're gonna have time for people. You ain't gonna look down on people because you know you've been there, you've done that, you've been through that road. So why don't you advise people? And you know, sometimes it's unfortunate, but this is why we talk about building up the community as well, because you know every background gets to have a platform, especially certain areas, certain masjids. They're not going to give certain brothers jobs to work in the madrasa, to teach this, to do that. Do you know what I mean? So then it down comes again to the root cause, the community. Do you get it? So we can go and do X, Y, and Z, go study for 2 years, come back. But if we ain't really able to be in an environment, given opportunities, then how are we going to help the community? But then it will be then it's upon you on your own back to make up a channel or to do something. Say, okay, the masjid don't want to give me opportunity, I'm going to do this. I'm going to still spread my knowledge. Do you get it? So that's when it comes to, again, okay, my man's not giving me a helping hand, but I'm going to stand on 2 feet and do my thing. That's what, like, that shows you what kind of man you are as well. Do you get it?
Yeah, you just do what you
Quick
have to
question. Do we think that the fact that people do go and study, they go away for a while, or even may even affect us, what we read and stuff, and we try to implement it, especially in our families, and then we kind of expect, well, you know what, why aren't you washing my feet, or why aren't you doing what Aisha radiallahu anha used to do? Do you think that divorces or fitness can happen within a family because our expectation that we want to transport our wives 1400 years ago back to Arabia, that we think, well, why aren't you behaving like the female Sahaba?
It is. Do you know, I'll be honest with you, I think with man sometimes we get so caught up in our rights, we forget about other people's
rights.
We're just too much about, I want this, I want that, you need to do this, it says this, using the deen as a weapon rather than using it as unity. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the thing as well. Like when you give, you receive. That's one thing I learned later in life as well. I'm too busy trying to receive from the people I love and the people that I expect from. But if I give to them, I get back. You understand? So I've realized, give more, you get back more. Do you understand? So I think it's a two-way street. Definitely, it can't be one-sided, because that's when divorce is going to happen. That's when a woman is going to say, you want this, expect like food on a plate when you come home, clean house, kids nurtured, school, a packed lunch done, ready for tomorrow. You want everything, and not realize the time and the effort it takes to do all of that stuff. And maybe sometimes your woman's just asking for half an hour so she can just have a shower and do her hair and have a minute to herself and
feel like a woman.
Question. Oh, obviously, alhamdulillah, Allah. So you're gonna come back after this. Obviously, mashallah, the brothers, we're married, we've got families and stuff like that. Was it take for a man, honestly, if you can summarize it, I don't know if you can. What does it take for a man to carry his family, like to go to the ends of the earth for his family? Like, this is our tribe. We ain't going nowhere. What does it take? How can we?
A connection.
Mm,
I feel like it's for me personally, it's a connection in it. If you got that right connection with that person, and this is what I'm saying when I'm saying to people, like, you got to know your person. Like, you really got to know your person, because it's like when you fall in love with that person, like, you really got that person's best interest at heart. Like, you're gonna do whatever you need to do to make sure that that person, your children, etc., are taken care of. Yeah. Now, if you haven't took time, you haven't taken your time out to find out who this person really is, they're just somebody in your house that you're married to, that you're with, that you got children with. Like, but it's just a contract, and this is what it is. This is what it is in Islam, and I feel like it's outside of Islam. I feel like it's period. Yeah, but in Islam, because we got like rules and regulations, it more falls into our thing. Is that man look at things like a contract. It's like, yeah, is she doing what she needs to be doing? Yeah, she's doing that. All right, cool. Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Yeah, I'm doing that. All right, cool. But it's not like raw. Outside of that, it's not like raw. She's doing what she's doing, but is she okay with doing it? Is she burdened a bit? Does she need me to ease her burden? Do you see where I'm coming from? Like, after hardship comes ease, and that. Like, man's not really treating it like that. It's like, what can I get? What does she
regimented.
What can I get? What does she get? It is what it is. Then I'm getting what I'm getting. She doing what she like, and that's what it is. But it's not like, raw. How are we working together? Unison.
No compromise. Sometimes you got compromise, innit?
There's no compromise because there's no unison. Man ain't really caring about the person. It's just like, raw. Am I getting what I'm getting? Yeah, cool. Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Yeah, cool. And that's it. No, it's not supposed to be like that.
Say man's treating their wife like a 9 to 5, yeah?
Like a 9 to 5, bro. A 9 to 5, a 24/7 9 to 5, bro. That's it. Am I ticking the boxes? Yeah. All right, cool. I'm gone. I'm out with the brothers. Bye. I'm out with the brothers. Like, what?
Yeah.
Mad? Nah, that's madness. That's madness, man. We need to check ourselves still.
You know, it is as well. Like, you know, I think a lot of the stuff, to go back to what you said about carrying the family, a lot of the things, the intricate moments, is done behind closed doors. Do you understand? We can all be the man in front of the camera, or in the public, 100%. Or on the school run, or do you get me? But it's behind closed doors. Those little conversation and those moments there. And you know what? You have to enjoy the moments. You have to enjoy. You have to. If you don't enjoy the moments, it's gonna.
It's not.
But some people might say, "Listen, man, you man is soft, brother. You man don't know how to look after women.
You know what I call it?
You man is soft, brother. You have
a relationship, bro.
You know, being
to wash your toe. If a woman ain't washing your toe, she ain't looking after you properly. You know what I'm saying?
When I say be a full time, you know, I was saying be a full time dad and a full time husband. Don't be part time, because you see, it's like, when you don't live for the moment, when you don't enjoy it's going to be temporary. Like, you know, like these little Iman boosters, you hear them now and again, you feel good for 25, but next day, man's still waking up in the same. Like, real knowledge don't die. Real labor, real hardship, real graft doesn't die. 100%. So you have to. It's a weird one. I'll give you an example. Like my son, like he's going through, like he's 9, Lama back. He's going through a bit of anger issues at the moment at school, getting into fights, this and that. So I've got pulled up the other day in a meeting and said, "Oh, you know, your son's doing red tear. You can't be fighting with boys in school." So I spoke to him at the end of the day, and I said to him, "What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, George threw a paper thing, and he was distracting me, so I got upset, and I've done this, and I slapped him." I was like, okay, but don't you realize now that George threw a paper at someone and you fast up yourself? So George is not even in trouble. You're in trouble now. So now you brought yourself into this, when you could have just spoke to the teacher, or maybe taken a little time out and done and thought about it and managed your emotions, because that's very important. That's one thing we need to do as men, from boys, be taught to manage our emotions. I said, and now what he's done, he came home and then he's taken out on his siblings. Do you understand? So I said, bring George in the yard. Bring George in the yard. And he looked at me for a minute, he started crying. I said, yeah, you brought George home with you today because you brought that energy home with you. I said, don't bring George in my yard again. It's not welcome. That if something happens at school, leave it there at school. I'm going to talk to her after and we'll deal with it. We'll work through it. Same thing I tell him, if you wake up in the morning and you're having a bad morning, take a second out, talk to me. Don't ruin your whole day. Because I said to him, when I'm at work now and your mother been give me a headache and I'll go take it out on people at work, that's only going to mess up my thing now. And when I go home and say I lost my job, can I blame it on my woman, on my wife? No, because that's down to my actions. Do you understand?
Yeah, every action has a reaction, and that's what I always say to the children. Every action has a reaction, and at the end of the day, you have to take accountability. And I feel like in our society, our community, the one word that everybody needs to check is accountability. Yeah, because you can say George done this, Mo done this.
The white man done that.
Yeah, the white man. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You chose to do that. The reaction that you chose is what you chose. And now it's spiraled out and it's got worse. That's because of your actions. And this is what it is. We can blame everybody else. But the stronger person is the person that can say, do you know what? I take accountability. Listen, in the Deen it says, whatever befalls you of badness is what your own hands set forth. Yeah. So why are we not looking like, bro, my wife's running it up in the yard and that? What have I done? Is it 100%. The sins?
Address it.
Have I not been doing something that I'm supposed to be doing? You're not going to sit down and speak to her. You're just going to be talking about you're going to fight fire with fire and then wonder why you're divorced.
Other than that,
we're talking about women are bad and rare and blah blah blah. It's mad, bro.
Other than that, we're just puppets, innit? And you know what I'm saying, they're running us, they're pulling our strings because, like you said, you know, if I now something happens to outside the home and I come in my home and I bring my bad energy and I know it, I know the reason, but instead of taking ownership and like maybe responsibility, sitting down with my wife and said, you know what, this is what happened to me today. I'm not in the best of moods. I don't want to do X, Y, and Z. I just want to go to sleep. Do you understand? It's better for me to have that conversation rather than getting into arguments and this and that. And then she don't even know why. She don't even know why that's happened. And you know, little things like that, they build and then it becomes a mountain. And before you know it, you're 1 year, 2 years down the line, you hate each other and you don't know why. It's because the breakup of the communication and the issue. See, I've got my daughter just made me tea, so I must be doing something right.
MashaAllah.
So
communication, you say
communication. So the breakdown. I think that's a breakdown of the marriage. One of the things, communication, because you have to understand when you got into that marriage, you must have liked each other, right? You must 100%. Have liked what you saw. You must have liked what you heard. Unless you're whatless and you just wanted anything you can get, you must realize you have to go sometimes bring it back to the drawing board and think, what's gone wrong here? Do you understand? Because it's so easy for, like, especially if you've been in a long-term marriage, long-term relationship, it's so easy to miss the root problem and just get into, you know, just the clouds over your head, man. The clouds over your head, you don't know where you're coming or going. You understand?
And I feel like to add on to that, it's like, you know, sometimes as people, we feel like other people should know. Like, oh, he should know. Or, no, she should know. And it's in an ideal world, with people that have been raised a certain way, etc., we should know. But it's okay to say, do you know what, babes? You know what? You said something the other day and I didn't really feel it. Or you done something the other day and you didn't do something the other day and I didn't really feel it. Yeah. And you should be able, because this is the person that you love, to sit down and speak to it and get to an end goal where it's like, do you know what? It doesn't have to be an argument. I'm just stating it because I didn't like it and I didn't want it to sit in my heart and to grow. Yeah. But because of the lack of communication, like Bilal said, is that we don't communicate about things. Yeah. And something that was just, hey, shut up, man. I don't know who you're talking to today. Is gone from just shut up. I don't know who you're talking to. And obviously it was spare of the moment. He was moving mad. You was moving mad, rare. But now it's manifested in a hurting for like a year and that. And now you have a look at one dispute And she's like, "Rah, you think you can tell me shut up?" You're like, "Rah,
Mm.
hold on, that was all like 2 years ago."
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
but you've been harboring it for so long.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're not having conversations.
yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about. Do you really love your person? Are you really working in unity? Like,
Mm.
And you have to remember,
speak
women sometimes women love hold stuff, you know.
yeah.
You know, as man, we itch.
That's
We itch.
true.
If we hear something, we want to deal with it right now. I ain't waiting till tomorrow. I'll wake up out of your sleep. I want to deal with it, even if it's stupid. And so you get cussed, and you think, "Oh, you know what? That could have waited till tomorrow." Still, but women will love hold stuff for months until they got proof, evidence, or this, that, or something to back it up. And so they all on the line, all. And you're thinking, right, this date, this time, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why sometimes, like, you just really have to pay attention to your partner, man.
Yeah.
What
That's
should you what just for an advice for the viewers, what should they expect in a marriage? Meaning they're gonna have that, I call it the Aisha radiallahu anha moment, where Prophet's wife Salama, she gave some food to the companions of the Prophet ﷺ while Prophet ﷺ was in Aisha's house, and Aisha radiallahu anha, she tipped the plate in front of all of the companions, dashed the plate away, and Prophet ﷺ smiled and said, "This is the jealousy of Aisha." Now, next man, I'm just saying, bring it to these days in time. Imagine a gift is sent to the house and your wife dashed the plate in front of the brothers. You're gonna go off in it. But when you know women and you understand women's mentality, you're able to remain cool and calm and understand that's just the situation of women. You got to be able to, because in our relationship, you must have had that Aisha moment where you think like, right, you just said that to me. All right, that just happened. And you think to yourself, did she damage your pride? Did she hurt you? And you think like, how should I respond in this moment? Should I push out my chest and tell her to bad, or I should just smile and say, all right, I understand where you're coming from.
For me, is have no expectations, because 9 times out of 10 our expectations and limitations and all these tations is built upon what we've seen in some local fairy tale thing. Because no one ain't really out here telling man what it really is. We might have these little things like Muslim rule and the brothers are getting together and letting man know, like, listen, here what it is, that and this and that. But 9 times out of 10, when you're looking outside in society, no one ain't saying, brother, I was a mess. I only because I'll tell man now, AR.sense from Sensible Choice wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the sister over here. Do you see where I'm coming from? Because, you know, it was a process. It was a process. I might have had them qualities inside myself, but tapping into those qualities was because I'm with this woman here. You get me? And she made me realize certain things, and she made life really become a point where I'm saying, well, do you know what? Listen, there's more to this than just out here. Do you get me? So it's like whatever thing that you see out here, 9 times out of 10, it's a load of rubbish. People are lying to you. They ain't telling you the truth, because man can't even handle the truth themselves. So take that, dash it against the wall, and whatever comes to you, just deal with it as a person that, like we saying, have a conversation about it. If you don't understand it, have a conversation about it. If it angers you, have a conversation about it. Have conversations, lots of conversations. Have conversations about conversations. Because I'm telling you, unless you can converse with each other, you're never going to overcome anything. That's my personal thing.
And when you are going through certain things, do not take advice from broken people. You can take advice you can take advice from broken people that have healed and that are doing things properly, but it's very risky to take advice from broken people, because they're most likely doing the same things over and over again. So it is important, like I said before, to have a mentor or have an elder or have certain people you can speak to where you trust them and you know that what they're telling you is what's good for you, not just what you want to hear, what's good for you and what's going to keep you on the right track, save you and your family, and what's best for your hereafter as well. Because a lot of times people will say something because it's the same advice they will give themselves, but it's not what you need to hear.
No.
So it's very important who you talk to and who you trust, because you have to understand that's a trust, you know, because from what that man is telling you, you're going to now go and take that information. You're going to do something with that information. You're either going to go home and treat your wife away. It could be better or it could be worse. You have to understand what you hear and what is given to you and what's fed to you is going to show in the result of how you treat your family and external people. So and obviously initially it's your responsibility to pick your partner.
Yeah.
If you ain't done checks, if you ain't spent time, if you ain't sat down, if you ain't made sure you literally put everything in place, then how can you hold your hand up and say, I've done my job? If now you're now with a person that's whatless, that don't wanna do nothing, don't wanna cook, don't wanna, you know, it's not even about cooking, but you get me, don't wanna just play a role, don't wanna do their part, don't wanna bring anything good in the household, then now you're stuck with that person, and maybe that's an indication to get out sooner than later. Do you understand? But really and truly, if you're clear-minded, level-headed, you're a person that's dealt with your trauma, you're a person that you're in a good place in life, and now you're ready for marriage, you shouldn't be making those wrong choices like that. And if you do, qad of Allah ma sha'a fa'al, that's a trial from Allah, and you deal with that as best fit. But do you know what I mean? If you ain't putting those things in place, then you can only look at yourself.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to. Do you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to deal with that now.
I think that's a good point. Because I feel like how many people, because obviously as Muslims we have meetings, how many people go into meetings with really trying to find out who this person really is to the best of their ability, not just hitting basic stuff, keeping it surface. You know, like, what's Quran? Do you know how many hadith? Do you know your du'as? No. Like, who are you? Like, what are you about? Like, where are you coming from? Rah. Trying to extend it as much as possible to really find out who this person is. Obviously, it's a meeting, so you're only going to know so much anyway, because everyone's going to have their poker face on anyway.
Yeah.
But how many
meetings do you
really
think they should
trying
have?
to find out what this thing is and who this person really is? No. Man, just trying to find that out when they're in the yard and they've done the deed and rare, and now it's hit the fan.
How many meetings would you allow your daughter to have with a prospective brother? To say, well, okay, you've checked him out. What do you think? What, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's individual base.
Until she's happy, basically.
I don't think we can say, 10 meetings, rare, because I had 3 meetings. I had 3 meetings.
Yeah, but
today, like, when I got married to today's world is two different time frames. Plus I knew my missus previously, so it's like it's there's a big difference, and I feel like it just relies on individual basis. Like, do you think you could have had 3 meetings, but they were like 2 hours long, 3 hours long.
I think also depends on how involved you want to be as a wali. Like, and that just shows you what your children mean to you. Because if I take it back to my daughters now, if I say to the brother, look, you've met my daughter, or before you meet my daughter, come meet me, come, let's go out for coffee. If man's dodging me, it's not serious.
He's not serious.
Like, maybe something's going on.
Don't dodge the wali. If he dodges the wali, it ain't serious.
If man's got a schedule for like a reason that's valid, cool. But other than that, if man don't want to meet me, because I'm willing to put in hours, I'm gonna give my daughter to you. I'm willing to put in hours right now. You understand? Yes. So if you don't want to meet up with me, you don't need to see my daughter how many times. You can meet a couple times, whatever. We're gonna go through that process anyway. But if I can't get to know you at first, so if you can't take time up for me, then you're not serious.
Yeah, but if the brother's known in the community, if my children know your children as well for the future generations, then it won't be a 1-2 meeting thing. Like, I know your son because I've seen him.
That's different. That's why they say you should match your children up from young. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to wait until they get to a point where now they've got desires, or to a point where now, do you get me? Now they fall in love. You're
Well, I've got
supposed
two
to match
daughters.
them. You're supposed to match them up
I've
from
got two
early.
daughters here. I've got 2 daughters here.
I've got 6
saying?
boys. Get me?
There you go.
Mashallah.
So it's like
Yeah.
you have to match them up in it. You have to build relationships, and it's not a forced thing, like you said earlier. But you build these relationships, and if it works out, it's better because you know the families. There's no running.
Yeah.
There's no running. If there's an issue, you want to run to that family. The other family's there. You get me? We're all gonna know. We're gonna communicate. That's
And
how
I think
fix
like
the
you've
problem.
highlighted a good point, yeah. And the point is that as men and as women and as Muslims, we need to be connected more. We need to do more things. We need to have more events. We need to be around the masjid more. And even if it's not around the masjid, we just need to link up more. Because it's our children's lives that are at stake. Yeah, because then you're gonna see Muhammad is looking at Sarah, and Khadija is looking at Ben, because they don't really know the Muslim community. They're out in the world often.
Yeah.
You see where I'm coming from? And if we can't merge as people and we can't squash our differences for the sake of our children, then it's gonna be messy. Yeah. So it's just some food for thought, personally.
Not everyone's like-minded though. So like this panel that's here, we've all got everything is the same interests. Like we're all married, we're all trying to build a community, we're all building our families. So it's kind of like you connect with like-minded people. So I'd connect with you brothers, but I'm not just connecting with every brother in the masjid because they're not on the same kind of thing that I'm on.
Well, whoever's thinking likewise, then you link with them. But it is important. I'm talking about back in my days, people used to have dinners. You used to invite people with your family. Like you might have imagine how much kids we've got between us. So you might have 20 kids in the house, 4 brothers, another 4 wives.
I can't invite you to my house though. I invited you, Bilal, innit?
Yeah.
One time, but that was a long time ago. That was a long time
he just
ago.
invite Bilal. He never invite me. He invite you.
No.
You're not inviting us.
But you know what it is? You have to remember. Transitioning into Islam. Remember, bruv, I don't really. I don't talk to every single person. So it's like if it's kind of like my wife as well. It's like if you're not a mother in the same situation as my wife, she's not just linking any random sister. She has to be like Bilal's wife is on the same program my wife's on. So it's a perfect match. And I think
but at the same time, go on.
I think me and Abdul Rahim, I think our wives did connect one time at the masjid years ago. So the wives have to connect because it's like they have to be on the same program. The husband's on the same program, and then we can have these dinners. So it's like, inshallah, I think in the future I'm gonna, obviously as well, I'm trying to build my foundation. So when I invited Bilal to dinner, that's a temporary accommodation. That house had mice in it and everything. Like we're still trying to build our family home. We're trying to build our life. So sometimes it's not even a perfect situation. And you're all the way in north, I'm all the way in south, and it's like it's just not the perfect situation. But I want to invite brothers round and we have a big dinner and we just chill.
When you get the mansion, brother, when you get the mansion,
this is what I'm saying. For me,
exactly.
For me, it's not even about it doesn't have to be a household thing. We can say, well, we're doing a picnic.
Yeah, picnic.
Everyone just come. You know them way there. We're doing it in this park here. Whoever want come. Because you don't know who you're gonna link, and you get me. So
I want to do a family thing. See my thing. This is why you don't see all the big brother link ups. Because like brother, and these big brother WhatsApp groups. Because like brother, we'll be in these WhatsApp groups. A man talking about football and this. It's like brother, you got 100 men in this group, and the most we can do as men is talk about football. Brother, I'm out of this group later. Like I need to. I'm linking with brothers who's on the same program as me. Man's trying to build businesses. Man's trying to raise our families, marry our children off, invest money into building foundations and to building infrastructure. Brother, man ain't got time to be linking up with brothers and just be, brother, assalamu alaikum, man, standing around eating chicken and talking. And brother, I'm just linking with man who's trying to make power moves, bro. That's the only kind of brothers I'm linking up with. I'm not linking up with no time wasters. So it's like that's what I'm on. I'm not really on this whole general let's all link up and let's
But
just
sometimes you need those general link ups. Sometimes you need those general link ups to find out who those people are. Do you get me?
You have to mix it.
And it's those picnics and etc. You're gonna link with a brother like Bilal, who you might not have linked on a normal day, but he happened to bring his family down to this one picnic that you able to cross paths with him and say, yo, I like that brother, he's a stand-up guy. Do you see where I'm coming from? So sometimes we got to think about the bigger picture and not just, what's just in front of our face.
Everyone knows everyone. So I know Bilal. Now I've connected the dots with you brothers. So now I know a serious brother. Now you lot know a serious brother. So Abdul Rahim, if you know a serious brother, then you invite him on the panel, and then it's like, now I know that serious. So everyone is on the same page. We're gonna be. It's like you attract to like-minded people. You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna instantly, because what you're on, you're gonna attract those people, and you're only gonna be connecting with serious people, because you're not gonna be standing around talking with fools. So whoever, it's like if you invite someone around and I'm there, then naturally we're gonna connect. If I invite Bilal, you're gonna connect. If Bilal invites me, then I'm gonna connect. I know he's not around no idiots. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not just on this general. Like, we could do the general. You have to
have a general. You have to have a
general now and again. But really,
to.
I'm just kind of I like, when it comes down to like meaningful community building relationships. Certain people ain't on it. Like, they're not. Then like they're not the mindset. They ain't putting in the work. They ain't got the vision. So it's like, when it comes down to proper deep relationships, where I'm gonna marry my daughter to your son, or my son married to your daughter, that's gonna be like some real, deeper family. Like, we're marrying into each other's families. Now we've bought this land, we've built homes on this land, like some real power move type of relationships. I'm not on this general, because bro, man's done the general, bro. Brixton's full of general. Brixton's full of general relationships that don't go nowhere, bruv. Outside Juma, man, just chatting. You get me? Assalamu alaikum, yeah, gossip and go. WhatsApp group gossip and nothing don't happen. Like me, I'm just like this a Muslim real. I'm so glad, Ishmael Al Mubarak, you made it. It's like, bruv, it's about time. It's just people that's on building a serious community will link up together. But apart from that, bro, I'm not on this kind of wishy-washy. Because, bruv, time's important. My time's important. My life's important. I could be spending time with my wife, my children. Like, if this ain't gonna be a meaningful conversation, meaningful relationship where we're gonna get things done and we're gonna implement plans for the future, bruv, man's done all that chilling outside with the man, them smoking, chilling and chatting and wasting time. Bruv, time is very important. I ain't got time unless it's some serious, meaningful link ups. I ain't got time for it, bro. That's just me.
Cool.
That's just me.
Cool. I got you. No problem. Brothers, we hit the 2 hour, 15-minute mark. I think we need to get some rest because we've got a lot of work to do. Bilal, Zakalakhan for your time. Hopefully we'll meet up again.
Inshallah.
Maybe we'll all meet round Ubaidullah's house. I got a question though. Ubaidullah, if I come round to your house, are you gonna have that poster up that's behind you?
Of course. Aki, listen.
Brother, you have to chill out sometime, brother.
No.
Man will have diamond essence cutlery,
Come on. This poster, bro, this was meant to be up from the first episode. It's only because I ain't been moving on point.
You're on point now, brother. You're on point today, brother.
I ain't got my diamond essence t-shirt on. I ain't got my diamond essence beanie. I was meant to have my hat on. I ain't got everything's not in place yet.
I respect you, brother. I respect you, brother. Definitely. But it's been nice. It's been nice.
Yeah,
I think
it was a healthy conversation. You get me? It's good
a healthy conversation. We got to do something practical, as you said. Picnics, fireworks, football. I don't know, whatever we need to do in order to get things done properly and to build a community and pass the message on. We have to do it. And it's down to us. We can't be looking to the next man and the next man anymore. No. It's our generation that's got to do something, and we should start, inshallah. Sure. Yeah.
But may Allah reward you, Ishmael, for just making this happen.
Ameen.
Honestly, I don't want to pass this dunya except when I
You're an
look
elder
back.
as well.
If I look back, I see that there's something done. You know what I'm saying? This is all about me looking back and saying, you know, when I move on to the next life, I left something.
No.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? That's
definitely.
all it's all that's what's it about. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, on that, brothers, it's always been nice. Inshallah, we catch up next week with the Muslim Meal Podcast. Karen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.